everyone. I'm Neil Bonnett. This week on Winners, the story of two successful men whose success stories are inseparable. There's Scott Parker, who turns the throttle on a 100-horsepower dirt track motorcycle. And then there's Willie Werner, the man who turns the wrenches that delivers that horsepower. This is more than a story of a racer and his mechanic. When they got together, they were a part of a team that was on the ropes, in danger of going out of business. A lot of hard work and personal sacrifice kept that team alive and brought that team back to the pinnacle of their sport and made it a winner. The folks who sell the tickets call this the Rolling Thunder Show, the AMA Camel Pro Series. To be a winner in this league, you need a big batch of skill and a whole lot of guts. The Grand National Champion gets to carry number one. Scott Parker chased number one for 10 difficult and often discouraging years. He finally won it in 1988, and he's kept it ever since.
Last lap, they're out of turn 4, and here they come for the checkered flag, and Parker wins. He's done it. Number one, Parker's worked a miracle. He's won here on the San Jose Mile.
The number one Parker now is wearing is really special. He won it with the greatest ride of his career.
Winners is brought to you by Autolite Spark Plugs and Wire and Cable Products. Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years no matter how far you go. And Fram Filter Products. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later.
In my 23 years of professional racing, I've learned how to get the best performance from a car's engine. Hi, I'm Neil Bonnett. In our professional race cars, we don't need to use Restore because those engines are continuously being rebuilt. But I do use Restore in my family cars. Restore is made for older cars with high mileage. Restore's patented formula fills in scratches, boosts compression, reduces oil burning, and restores power. Putting your life back into your car with Restore, it works. In their 3 consecutive championship seasons, Scott Parker and Willie Werner won 22 races. All the other riders combined only won 28. Parker is a salaried factory team racer. Werner is his full-time mechanic. Scotty has a deal every dirt tracker dreams of. He won his first championship in 1988, coming from behind to dethrone Bubba Chauffeur. In 1989, he went on a tear, winning 10 races in his second straight title.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 1990 season about to end. They're in turn 4, last race, last lap, and Parker's done it again. He's locked up his 3rd straight championship. Parker, king of the dirt, and his mechanic, Bill Warner. One reason why. Nobody knows more about winning championships than this team now going to victory lane.
You define the goal at the beginning of the year. What is the goal? To win the first race, to do good? No, the goal is to win the championship. And then you just move back, well, what's the most important thing? Well, you got to finish every race. You got to finish good in every race. And then you back it up and you prioritize things and think, what's the most important thing? And dependability is the most important thing. Running fast is almost secondary, you know, and what's paramount to lap time speeds? It's corner speeds, you know. So that's even easier because you can take something out of the motors, and if you take risks anywhere, it's in chassis setups because that's the most productive time-wise anyway.
Parker leaves the strategy and most of the talking to Willie. His job is getting to the checkered flag first. Then he's ready for that microphone.
Took the pole. Moorhead said the Honda's all set fast times today, but when it comes down to the paycheck, Harley Davidson's on top. Woo!
Nowadays, winning's a habit for Parker, but in the mid-'80s, these celebrations were rare. Harley was broke, and being the factory rider was scary.
I can remember sitting by my telephone, and this is not while I was in the racing department. I was still in quality audit. And it was after midnight, waiting for the phone call to find out if the company was going to be still in business Monday morning. That's virtually how close it was.
It was was really crazy because I took in all my life was wanting to run with the Harley-Davidson racing team, and I finally got there, and the company was questionable whether they was even going to have a race team. They were broke at that time.
The year was 1985, and Parker wasn't winning very often.
Yeah, I was number 11 that year and going for the championship. Started out right on top of winning the Houston opener. And I didn't win a race till 6 months later. It was one of them things you're beating your head against the wall.
Battling for the lead with Scott Pearson, Scott Parker, and Bubba Schobert. Here comes Schobert. Oh, Schobert slamming the back of Pearson, tumbling into Parker. Parker's come back. He's challenging the leader. Dives inside. He does it. Parker around Pearson, taking the lead. An amazing comeback. Parker is made following that early tangle with Bubba Schobert. Parker's done it. He's top dog here at the Astrodome. Can't wait to get that $200 helmet off to hear this crowd. The troubles of his team seem a long way off.
Parker never considered leaving. In the face of massive budget cuts, he carried on as the lone team rider. There was no money for a mechanic. Willie was the only employee left in the racing department, and his job was reduced to shipping parts. Parker had a far-fetched idea. Willie would keep his day job at the factory and build Scotty's race bikes in his basement at night.
I think it really had to go from his past records. I could look back and see the guys that he had worked with in the past, Jay Springsteen, Gary Scott, and a few other guys, and I knew in the back of Bill Warner's mind, he knew he could go out there and win championships, and I was hoping it was with Scott Parker.
Somebody threw a gauntlet down, and I of course had to pick it up. It's a challenge. God, how many hoops can you jump through? And it's like saying, well, here you've got an opportunity to, do something real hard, and maybe a bunch of people don't think you can do it, but this guy thinks you can do it. This guy thinks you can jump through this hoop, and it was an inspiration, to know that he had that much faith in me, knowing that I could only do it kind of part-time. And, like I said, I owe him a lot for recycling my career, so to speak.
Scotty and Willie were eventually rewarded for their determination to keep their team on the racetrack. The money situation turned around, and Parker found his way to victory lane more and more often.
Laps winding down, leaders on the backstretch. Parker swings wide. He's going to run it in the deep and try to move around Bubba Schobert. He's done it. Parker taking control. Richest race of the year. A win could sure make up for a lot of recent Parker disappointments. They're off turn 4, final time, and Bubba Schobert's too far back to challenge. It's Parker. He's winning the Springfield Mile.
Parker was back on track. A year later, he fulfilled his dream. After 10 years of trying, he finally brought home number 1. On weekends, Scott Parker earns big bucks at the races. But back home in Flint, Michigan, he's a famous tightwad. Take the time he found this lawnmower in a junkyard and rebuilt the motor.
I think I better go to Sears and buy me a new one.
You ain't gonna buy a new one.
Right out of the junkyard. Uh-oh. Here we go. It's one of them things. We're gonna have to battery charge it.
It's kind of nice to see a big-time racing hero who's just like the rest of us. He's got a whole lot of junk around the house in bad need of a tune-up. Living in Flint gives Scotty one advantage. When you get your John Deere stuck in the mud trying to move a little dirt, who shows up to save your tail but a genuine motorcycle racing legend? Meet Jay Springsteen, winner of more races than any other rider in dirt track history. Teamed with Bill Warner, he won 3 championships in the 1970s. He is also the role model for Scott Parker's success.
What do you think? Didn't take long, huh? Think we can throw it out? We'll hook on to it.
Back in the 70s, Jay had Scotty's job on the factory team and won races at a record pace. But stomach problem forced him off the team. and now he competes as a privateer.
All right!
Jay's come over to Scotty's for a little backyard play racing. Scotty and Jay are the best of friends, even though Scotty got Jay's job with a factory team. Now, two of the best short track racers in history splash mud in each other's face just for fun. Parker has an advantage because it's his practice track, so he knows where the puddles are. But old Springer pulls off a pass and proves there's no substitute for experience. Even on the backyard battlefield, the goal is always the same, to be number one.
Man, you got the best of me, man. Look at me. You followed me through the mud. Man, you nailed it. That corner, man. I was right on your rear wheel and stuff flying everywhere. Son of a gun. I'll get you next time. I got you pretty good. I'm going to get you better next time.
All right.
Parker and Springsteen carry on a Flint tradition. This place produces great dirt trackers. The first was Bart Markle, factory team rider and number one 3 times. Scotty loves to reminisce.
I bet you it was great. You know, it's neat some of the stories you listen to Markle Man come up with. The best one I like was took and said followed this guy for 24 laps, and I guess the 25th one he took and run it in, knocked the guy off the bike. Guy come in and says, "Man, why'd you run into me, Markle Man?" Markle Man says, "Never seen you." And he'd been following the guy for 24 laps, you know. Never saw you.
Markle set the record at 28 dirt track wins. And then Springsteen came along and upped the mark to 40. Now Parker's out to break Jay's record. And Springer's not surprised. The first time he saw this kid, he knew they were 2 of a kind.
You're just like me, you know, and I see him up in the cushion going a couple times and me grabbing a handful, you know, and clipping the hay bales.
Riding the cushion and clipping the bales. That's dirt track talk for winning style.
Here comes Parker slinging a big rooster tail over the outside fence just the way he likes it. You can remember back when this kid was a rookie in '79, the folks in those front seats down in the corners, they knew they better back up when 40X came out. He rode that way then, still rides that way now. Scott Parker, if he has a choice, he'd just as soon win it running on top.
So exciting, running it into the corner at 120 mile an hour. As you flick it in there, man, and that thing's got a rooster tail, 10 foot long, flinging it, and you're right up next to the hay bales, breaking them hay bales. It's so much fun to do that, but therefore there's always a little risk out there, so you got to watch yourself.
Parker into turn 3, too hot on that motorcycle, sideways. He's keeping the gas on hard, and that's what's kept him out of the fence. When in doubt, gas it and stir it for what you're worth. That's the Scott Parker trademark. They fly into turn 1. Parker's trying to pass on the outside. He's off on a hard high side crash. Rear end stepped out, and rather than let it go, Scotty Parker tried to save it. The result, a bizarre, brutal sidewinder. Parker down. He may be out.
Scotty was down all right, but not out. Minutes later, he shook off the pain, pulled on his helmet, and lined up for the restart. For Willie Werner, Parker's willingness to live life at the razor's edge is nothing new. He's seen plenty of examples.
At Albuquerque, you know, he was kind of struggling and his line wasn't working, and you know, everybody was going in high and he was doing the same sort of thing, and it occurred to him that he'd be chopped off the whole inside of the racetrack and just held it wide open to the center. You know, he could knock 100 feet off the racetrack, never mind what he was going to do when he got there at that speed, you know, and I'll go somewhere else, try something different. And he's not afraid to do things radical, you know, and he does some radical stuff, you know.
For example, just watch this.
Coming down to decision time on this Camel Challenge. $10,000 to win. Peeling off an unbelievable Parker diving to the inside, passing the entire field.
Very aggressive, very, very aggressive. He scared me, but he's under control. I mean, he's not out of control. He just, you know, where everybody else starts to get big eyes, he just goes, well, I can go a little bit more, you know. So, you know, worst comes to worst, if they had more finish lines and going into the turn, we'd win a lot more, you know.
Ultimately, it is that riding style that sets the guys from Flint apart. That confidence that you can hold the throttle wide open, throw the motorcycle sideways, and deal with whatever happens next. Given a choice, Scotty would always pass him on the outside, throttle wide open, and the bigger the rooster tail, the better. Out on the circuit, Parker's a big-time racing hero. But in his own backyard, he needs a little help from his old buddy Springer.
You know, these Hondas, you can never plan on them, you know. You don't know what's going to happen.
What happened?
Out of gas.
I'll be right back to show you the biggest win in Parker's career. Race day. Factory rider Chris Carr now keeps the pressure on his teammate Scott Parker. Once threatened with extinction, Parker's team now has grown to 3 riders. Scotty is now senior member and team captain. Carr, number 20, wants to be number 1. But he'll have to do more than beat Scott Parker. He must also beat Bill Werner.
The single most important thing about racing is getting into the guy's head, getting into his head, and him getting into your head, and understanding, you know, people say, well, how can he hook up or do this or do that? Understanding what he's trying to do and trying to complement that the best way you can is the most important thing. You know, some people say, more horsepower, stickier tires, you know. Yeah, all that stuff's, you know, but getting into his head, understanding where he sits, what he's doing, what he's physically trying to do with the bike, and then trying to complement that thing, you know, with the motorcycle. So he can do those things. You know, when it says it doesn't do what I want it to do, he has to explain that in real precise terms and real specific terms, and you develop a dialogue that's meaningful to me, and then I try to translate that into a mechanical thing.
Parker also understands how to put a winning motorcycle on the track. But as you would expect, Scotty says it in a lot fewer words.
Bill Werner, he's one hell of a mechanic, and I'm confident when he gets done and says go get him, that bike's ready.
Late that season, San Jose, California, the most important race of the year. Now, Parker had got a big break the week before at Springfield, Illinois.
Number 20, Chris Carr leads the championship standings by 10 points. He's out to dethrone Parker, but wait a minute. Black flag is out for Carr. His motorcycle's leaking oil. Carr is out of the race.
Parker got a break at Springfield, but San Jose was different.
Going to turn 3, battling for that $100,000 Camel Pro bonus. And oh, there's trouble. Ricky Graham is down. Scotty Parker going down with him.
I barreled into Ricky and nowhere to go, and all of a sudden I'm laying on the ground over the handlebars and sliding, and I'm looking at the bike, and it's coming tumbling at me, and I'm pushing. I'm actually digging my hands into the ground, pushing. I'm trying to get away from that bike because I can just see it doing cartwheels after cartwheels. Then I went on to help Ricky. I went over to Ricky and I pick his bike up, get him down, take his helmet off. He says he's okay. I'm looking over at the motorcycle going, man, I got to go win this championship. My bike's laying over there all battered, beat to hell, you know, and I'm going, oh, I got to do something. Finally, I took off, said, Ricky, I got to go, man. I took off, grabbed my bike, and we start ripping the steering dampener out, ripping the handlebars off, and people's just going every direction, taking stuff off, and I'm, you know, time's winding down, and I'm just looking at the bike and get it all done. All of a sudden, we're just getting ready to bump it off, and Bill looks down and the wheels broke, man, and I could just see that $100,000 check hanging halfway out the window with the wind blowing, and it's flapping by, you know, and they run back to the truck and grab a rear wheel, come back, bolt that thing in, and get in there, and let's go. It's time to go racing.
With just moments to spare, Parker fired up and returned to the line for the greatest ride of his career. He put the crash out of his mind. He rode 5 careful laps to get the feel of the battered motorcycle. Then he cranked open the throttle.
There goes Parker, unbelievable. He's taken the lead on that battered motorcycle. Here comes Carr to challenge. At the finish, no, Scott Parker hangs on, wins by inches.
Scott Parker became the first man ever to win 4 straight at San Jose. But that's a footnote in the record book. This will be remembered as the day he picked himself up off the ground, dusted himself off, and scored the greatest victory of his career. It's kind of fitting that Scotty's dad, who built the kid's first race bike in the family garage back in Flint, shared the victory ride. Meanwhile, Willie Werner ran down the damage to that bike.
The exhaust pipes, the handlebars, steering dampener, rear wheel, and shock absorber and seat.
Other than that, it was in great shape, right?
Perfect, other than that.
Actually, that's not quite true. Post-race inspection revealed that the frame on Parker's bike was bent so badly that the steering stem was more than an inch out of line. If Parker noticed, he never let on. He didn't just win the race, he worked a miracle. Now, didn't I promise you a good story? I've seen some amazing victories in my day, but I've never seen one quite like that. Parker didn't clinch the championship that day, but I think he convinced Chris Carr that he was unbeatable. 2 races later, he made it official and wrapped up his 3rd straight championship. Now he and Willie are after yet another championship. Don't bet against them because it's easy to see that these guys are winners. I'm Neil Bonnett. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Winners has been brought to you by Fram Filter Products. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And Autolite Spark Plugs and wire and cable products. Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years no matter how far you go.